Is it recording?
Let us know.
You guys are good to go. All right.
All right.
Cool. Don't feel pressured by the camera. You guys can just go.
Yeah.
Wait, where's the camera? Hi, camera.
Yeah, that's the camera.
Love you guys.
I don't.
Well, maybe you should.
Who's on the camera?
People. The future.
Where's this
The
recording?
future of Stevens and the future of Bergen.
Oh.
Yes.
I will say this, just to, should I make a hot take to annoy everybody there? Or
Yeah, sure. Go for
okay. NJT is better. Okay.
Why are you here? Why are you here? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Why are you here?
I'm a spy. I gotta see what's going on the other side.
Oh, sorry.
You're right. Anyways, sorry about that.
You're okay. Don't worry about it.
Anyways, welcome everyone. Welcome. I'm Jacob. Hopefully, I know some of you have met me. I know some of you have not. I was the president of the club before Peter.
Wait, this is a club.
Yeah,
Hosted by the Computer Tech Club.
this is a Comtech club thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not intruding in any way, shape, or form. You're welcome.
All right.
So I'm Jacob.
I'm
Eduardo.
And I'm Barry. I'm class of 21. I was a member of the computer science club. So that was the name before computer tech.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Were you gonna say something more?
No, that's it.
All right. So yeah, all of us are alumni from here. 2022, 2022, 2021. So Barry's been at Stevens a lot longer than either of us have, which is the main reason why I wanted him here so bad was because
He can actually talk about the
For sure.
program.
For sure. Yeah.
he could talk more about the classes specifically because he's taken a good amount of them. At least specifically a lot of them, the core classes.
Mhm.
So he knows how it's like being on campus.
Yeah.
And also transferring is fresh in our heads.
Mhm.
He's a cybersecurity major, which means he knows more about the cybersecurity track. And then I'm just here because I was invited.
Don't say that.
I was the one who was invited. I invited those two.
You're the general science.
I am the general computer science person here.
Yeah.
Should I?
Yes, let's get started.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so at Stevens, we require some level of mathematics. No matter what major you go in at Stevens, you have to take these 4 courses. Differential calculus, which is our Mat 280. Integral calculus, which is our 281. In vectors and matrices, which is our 282. This might also transfer as this, but I'm not sure. I would think so, I don't know. What's up?
Transfer, so you mean if you took those classes here, they'd go over there, or you
Yes.
have to retake?
When I
If
took. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, continue talking.
Essentially, if you take these classes here, when you go over there, they will accept these classes as these classes.
Also Math 281, which is Calc 2. I got credit for MA 122 and MA 125. I only had to take a 126, which is a multivariable calculus.
Yes?
This is also on the website, posted on the website too, right?
The slides?
And the information about the mathematics required in order to transfer.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a part of the Stevens. It's in the Stevens curriculum.
It's a little bit confusing to follow, but it's there. It's a little thing. Notice that there's probability and statistics. They won't take probability because I know there's a statistic class here at Bergen, right?
Mat 150,
Yeah,
They
Mat 150.
won't take that class. So if you guys are planning to take it just to transfer to Stevens, they
Does not
won't
transfer.
take it. No, it'll give you a lead probably, but this class is algebra based. The one at Stevens is calculus based.
Yeah,
So
it's calculus based and more based on like the idea of statistics rather than just like the calculations about it. And I'm currently taking intermediate statistics, which is more on like the actual statistics and hypothesis testing, and one sample testing, 2 sample testing, which is what I'm currently learning right now. And you're also going to be using the programming language R. Yeah, and the professor that I have right now, like he highly encourages us to write our answers in an R Markdown file. That way we can convert it to PDFs because it's just more professional. So,
Because that's
Alright. So yeah, by the way, these statistics courses, these are CS specific.
That makes a lot.
And also I'm guessing there's
Okay.
cybersecurity as well.
Yeah, they're the same. At cybersecurity, you're not gonna take 331. You just take 222. But if you're going into CS, you're gonna have to take both, I guess.
You know, we're required to take both of these for CS. And then also, yeah, I did get this transfer for Calc 2, but I also heard this was a mistake that I got this. But he's also saying he got it for Calc 2, so now I'm like, I don't know if this will transfer for Calc 2.
How do you know if it's a mistake?
Because vectors and matrices, that's nothing to do with whatever you do in calculus here. It's just something that they transfer because
They don't want to leave you behind, I'm guessing.
probably, but if you take calculus 3, that'll be equivalent to 126.
Another thing is these math courses they're half a semester.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So once you go from like the start of the semester to the midterm, that's one course, and then you go from like the middle of the semester to the end of the semester, which is your final. That's another course. So that's how the math classes work.
And that's why you want to transfer your credits.
And
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much like like
But the same.
Take all those?
Same.
Yeah, in my first year, I only had to take multivariable calculus. That was it for me. I was done with the core math classes, and then all I just had to do was statistics. These are full semesters. Yes.
Of all of the MAs are half semesters?
These are half semesters. These are full semesters.
Alrighty.
There are
Yeah,
a few
the-
other that are half semesters, but you don't take them.
Like,
Like-
for example, physics 1 and 2, those are half semesters as well.
Are they?
Yeah, they are.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they are.
But another one that's half a semester is series, infinite series, which is a part of Calc 2. Which it's funny that it doesn't transfer. It's only because 4-year series exists in the infinite series class, which isn't covered in Calc 2 here. So I have to take the whole course again. But that's just how transferring works. Yes.
Did you have to take any physics?
If there's so here's
Next
how
slide.
it works. Yeah, but just to give you a heads up. So for the CS or cybersecurity program, you have 2 science requirements. So
Oh.
essentially, if you take here 2 science classes that transfer, that's gonna be what they want. So you're not gonna have to take more.
So it doesn't matter what kind of science.
No,
class?
as long as one of those has a lab, it won't matter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, going to sciences. Great segue.
Science 1.
Science 1, Science 2, and Science Lab. Those are their requirements. That is what's listed on their website.
It's just called science.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can take any science class.
Oh,
Biology too, or
These
just physics and chemistry?
you can actually do biology.
As a science elective, science math elective.
No, this isn't the science math elective.
Oh.
That's different. This is like sciences. You have to actually take some amount of sciences. And
Hello,
math.
guys.
Oh.
So for the sciences, these all transfer in these places. If you take chemistry 1 and 2 here, those will transfer. Physics 1 and 2 will also transfer. Physics and chemistry 1 will also transfer.
Intro courses won't.
I have
Like introduction to chemistry, intro to physics,
Okay.
those courses won't
What
transfer.
about like general physics?
I'm not sure about those, but I can almost guarantee that they won't.
I see.
All right, I gotta go.
Have a good day.
Yeah, have a
We'll
great
post the
weekend. Take
recording
care.
in the slides, so
Oh,
for you to
okay.
check.
Where?
Are you in the this?
I'll
group?
post it later.
The computer technology Discord?
No, I'm not part of the school.
Are you not part of the school?
No, I'm part of the school, it's not, I don't.
Got it,
use the
got it,
school,
got it.
that's why,
Here.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
When's
There
your
you go.
next meeting?
You can take
Oh,
this.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, is there any like
Yeah.
QR code or
You
anything?
can scan
Yeah.
the Discord right there. and it'll
Got
take-
it.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Does that mean there's literally just a class called Science 1?
It's not a class.
Oh, it's just that's.
It's a
what-
category.
It's a category, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, you can take any class under the category.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Wait, so Steven's chemistry 1 and 2 is good to go, like it'll replace the physics requirement?
It's not a physics requirement, it's just a science
Here's the
requirement.
thing, yeah.
For computer
Because I
science.
know that elsewhere that's not the case, and they require physics
Probably.
as like no chemistry, like you don't need it at all.
Yeah, that's just
Because
about
when
right.
I came here, I started taking chemistry, and I didn't need it because if I were to transfer to New Brunswick or something, I would just have to take physics. That would have fulfilled my science credits here, but then I'd need to take physics anyway when I went to the 4-year.
Mhm.
So I wasted a year on chem basically. So I took like intro to chem and chem 1 last year. and then
Wait.
just start taking physics.
Either you could do physics 1 and chemistry 1, and that would
Yeah,
kinda
That's
work
good to
too.
know. If I knew I was
Yeah.
going to Stevens, I would have just stuck with chemistry
Mhm.
and just been done one class. And been
Or
done.
you,
I
you
would've
took
honestly-
chemistry already, and now you're taking physics 1,
Yeah.
and that's it. You're good for Stevens.
Honestly, I would rather do Chem 1,
Well,
Physics
without-
1 as a
wait,
CS
really?
person.
Chemistry, physics 1, chemistry 1.
Physics
Wait,
and
you do
chemistry.
Chem 1 instead of Physics 1 for computer? Why?
No,
What?
we're not saying you have to. We're saying they
saying
will
these are-
accept it.
That's
They will
nice.
accept all these.
So I could quit now.
So, like, If
I
you
would-
guys,
I could just to put it simply, the chemistry courses and the physics courses that are all like 100 level courses in at Stevens. So like when I transferred my physics 1 and 2 courses, they were physics 100 level courses at Stevens. Plus I also got the lab on top of that. So my general science courses were satisfied.
Very nice.
Also, it's probably better you're doing physics because like there is no use for chemistry in CS.
None whatsoever.
Exactly.
And there may be a use for physics.
Yeah, if you go into a specific field, there will probably be a use for physics.
I imagine like simulation, video
Simulation,
game
game development, those use a good amount of
Yeah.
physics. Anything with that uses any sort of physics uses physics.
Mhm.
Like literally physics engines.
Right, literally. That's what I imagine being the only main application for that.
What about like electrical circuits or something like that? Never mind.
I know nothing about it.
Physics too is like electricity and magnetism.
Yeah,
but
that
I don't
would-
think that would really help.
Did you take any?
Would it?
That's
Maybe.
actually how his
Physics
transfer
yeah.
says.
Yeah?
Really?
Was it
Yeah,
required?
electricity and
no,
magnetism.
over the summer.
Interesting.
Oh, you
But
just did it. Okay.
Yeah.
it's probably more useful than chemistry.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
Want to continue?
All right, Barry, you got this.
All right, cool. These are all the core classes that you'll be taking in computer science. Of course, you will have to be taking a CS 101, in my opinion, it's a BS course.
Oh, that's all of our.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I heard that.
I'm taking that too.
Yeah, no, it really is a BS course because you're just gonna be like you're just listening to professors discuss about like different fields of computer science, and that's in a nutshell. And CS 115, which is Introduction to Computer Science, the language you'll be taking is Python. The main difference I see in from Stevens and Bergen Community is that all the core computer science classes are done in C++. When it comes to Stevens, that's a different case. You're always like a little bit jumping a bit, you're jumping from like language to language.
Yeah, those three courses, those
Yeah.
three are, or not those three. 115, 135, 240, 284, and 382. I know for, or not 382, sorry, 385. I know for a fact all four of those classes use different programming languages.
Yeah.
And then one of them's just a useless language just for learning the class.
Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
What?
Having multiple programming languages
I
between
mean,
classes. that
it
you
allows.
jump-
I feel like in a way it kind of allows you to like understand how the syntax of different languages work.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's like for us how we're just wired to just like one language, and then next we're gonna use like a different language, and we're using a different language. So it's like what the heck? What the
Yeah,
heck?
it seems like it's a detriment to us that we're just using C++, especially when Python.
Yeah,
Yes.
but also when you think about there are companies out there that don't really like use C++
Mhm.
and rather use like other languages. Yes.
This is the computer science core. Is there any classes that require us to take some sort of low-level things like assembly or that sort of?
That is what CS 382 is, but this is an equivalent to CIS 271. Because if you take
But it doesn't transfer, right?
yeah,
Like
no,
R2
it does transfer.
No kidding.
Yeah, it does
Yeah.
transfer because it counts as it was an old course called CS 383, which is computer architecture and organization,
Mhm.
except there was no lab.
Wow.
There was no lab course. So as long as you're able to transfer that, you're good. And also I heard the course is pretty hard. So
Yeah, good to know.
One
Yeah.
more thing to notice is that, I'm sorry, Barry. Since we're talking about how they all use different programming languages, they expect you to know how programming works in general. But usually, for all those courses, the first 2-3 weeks, you'll just see the basics. Like they'll cover the basics, the basic syntax, how to do things, how to not do things, how do they differ from the previous languages that you've taken. So in that sense, you'll be fine.
Okay, you want to mention your 115 course?
Oh yeah, I had a problem with my credits. Long story short, I'm taking the most basic one, the Intro to CS. That's like you see the name is Introduction to Computer Science. That's not actually introductory. Like that's a very complex course.
Really?
So you guys just make sure you know like a little bit of complex concepts like recursion, memoization,
So when
assembly
you're saying
language.
equivalent, that's just for you to know in general, not transferable.
Well,
Those are transferable.
it transfers.
These are transferable.
It
These
transfers.
are transferable, not in general.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So why did you have an error transfer?
Oh
Like,
no,
or
it
you
did
just chose to
transfer.
do
It did transfer. It was just a mistake I personally did. But I just found out that what you see in 103 here, yeah, it's Python, but it's not really the same as you do on Introduction to CS at Stevens. It's
Yeah.
way more complex. So 103 is like the first 3 weeks, of which like yeah, you do all that you do here during a semester, you do at Stevens the first 3 weeks.
Wow. So
And
you get
then
the classes in
Yeah.
3 weeks?
And I also want you to know that Infotech 103, he's saying that the first 3 weeks of Infotech 103 is this course.
Yeah.
This course covers more than these two courses combined.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
is that supposed to be a good thing, or, oh god, that's really scary?
It depends on what kind of student you are. If you're a student that's in something that's not CS, and they're requiring you to take CS here at Bergen, that's good for you, because you're probably not going to actually use programming in your field. But if you're a CS student, you just got completely screwed over. You now have to take 2 of these courses to even be an equivalent to this, transfer-wise, and knowledge-wise, you're nowhere close to this.
And one more thing.
Which is why I'm not a big fan of the CS department here.
Just check. It's
Uh,
recording?
huh?
It's recording still?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it
I'll
is.
let that
Let
be.
me know if there's
Can
any.
I-
I'm no alumni. They're not going to kick me out of
Flourish.
school for saying that.
Alright.
This isn't going to Stevens, is it?
No.
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 Why?
Okay, good.
They're not going to hate that I just talked about the curriculum here.
No, I mean, I'm just saying that because it's like, I don't know how professional I'm supposed to be. That's it.
Oh, you don't have to.
It's fine.
Oh, okay.
It's fine. Don't
Yeah.
worry
It's
about
just
I'll
for
just start
Discord.
swearing really loudly.
Yeah, it's for the Discord.
it. Alright, so next up is that is a CS 284, which is
Discrete.
No, this is the yeah, I'll back that up.
Okay.
CS 135 is discrete structures, which is you can transfer that with CS 288, which is the discrete math CS here.
But not the math version, right?
I was going to say that I took the math version here, and that transfer is discrete mathematics, MA 134, I think it is. It's either 134 or 135,
So,
but that does not count towards your CS degree. So now I just have that. I have the credits for the course, but it's just sitting out there doing nothing.
yeah, so like
I'm
there's a
even
lot
going
of-
to pick up a math minor, and it doesn't even count towards that.
Oh, man.
There's a lot of people that would tell you to take the math version of discrete math in Bergen because
Yeah,
the professor's out of her mind apparently.
Yeah, no,
Um,
yeah, I agree with that.
They're
But
replacing it.
after
It was
hearing
so- it
this,
was so
and
BS.
I've spoken to Dean Vandelovsky, who said they're getting a new one in the spring. So
Oh, good.
while most people say take the discrete math, the math side, don't, because it may not transfer like Jacob's case.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully in the spring we'll be safe and there'll be a new professor, and we'll have a shot at it.
I didn't even know there was like a computer science variant of discrete.
No, yeah, there is.
Yeah.
This will be like your third semester here. Oh, I'm not sure what year you are.
I don't know either.
Are you even CS?
I'm general science because of the way everything was set up and the amount of credits that would transfer over, and a lot of weird fuzzy stuff, but pretty much general.
Okay.
General
Okay,
science.
all right. And let's move on to data structures. And this, and of course, if you're taking CS 277, that is data structures and algorithms. The course will unfortunately only cover data structures, which honestly that makes a bit of sense given the how the curriculum of that course works. How the structure of that course works. Then you'll also be having CS 382, which is equivalent to CIS 271. Already mentioned that. And you'll also be taking CS 385, which is algorithms. This will you guys will definitely have an upper hand on because we're so like just trying to find the right words. We know C++ very very well, and that way, like, we're going to be using like recursion. You're going to be learning about asymptotic notation and recurrence relations, the Master's theorem. Then so you're going to be learning a lot more algorithms than and then you're just going to be learning algorithms.
So I'm in that class right now. I mean, he also is the CA for that course.
Only CA stands for courses. So I'm for the quantitative finance students. I'm not a CA for the computer science students.
Is
But
that just the same as like a TA?
yeah,
Yes.
Okay, no.
CA, TA, same thing.
Yeah.
but I'm taking that course right now, and I'll tell you some of the stuff in that course is also in this course. So having this course will also just give you an upper hand in this. Like stuff like runtime is in that course. He said recursion's also in that course. I haven't really gotten there. Well, I've done recursion at this point.
Yeah, you have done. Yeah, you should have done Stair Climber by now.
Oh yeah, stair climber is recursive, right? Yeah, stair climber is recursive. I'm trying to think. Oh, elementary sorting algorithms happens in that course.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Yeah, you guys will be okay. We'll be okay with that because I'm very confident that is definitely sorting is definitely covered in CIS 277. Yes.
I'm taking it now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, next up you have. I'm just going to skip over here. You're going to have CS 334, which is theory of computation. That is the next level of just like discrete math, discrete structures. You're going to be learning about DFAs, NFAs, and probabilistic time, non-probabilistic time, and of course you're going to be learning about how a stack would work in a DFA, Turing machines. Yeah, that's yes.
Is that where you roughly get introduced to like O notation?
We'll do that in data structures and algorithms.
That's
too.
algorithms.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
algorithms.
All right, keep in mind, I feel very out of my field. I didn't know there was so much computer science that was offered here that transfers over there. I am very behind. I gotta double check.
It's good that you're here then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big O notation is covered.
Yeah.
And then it's covered again in 385 because it's not covered in data structures.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only him.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Alright.
Only him. Only on Fridays.
Yeah.
So right now,
Yeah.
This morning. Yeah.
let's go to his class.
Actually, he was sick. He canceled today. Yeah.
Well,
Well, he did it
that's
online. He
fair.
didn't cancel, of course. But yeah.
Um,
He did it actually. He's got a 4:30.
Nice.
So this is, and then the next course is a security, privacy, and society. This is more of like I took a similar course to this called Introduction to IT Security, which is CS 306, and surprisingly I was able to get those credits to transfer over and to count towards CS 396. And this is just more of just like about like this, just having like the security of just computer science.
Got it. Is that something
Like
in your curriculum by any chance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in both
We'll
of
get
them.
to
Yeah,
it.
Got it,
they have to take CS at 396. For me, like I took 306, and then the email came out saying that, hey, you guys, now it's official that you have to take CS 396, but you have taken 306. That will transfer
Got
over.
it. Got it. Makes
So
sense.
I asked my academic advisor about it, and she was able to get it to work. Yes.
So I'm trying to go into being a software engineer, and right now I'm in fundamentals of programming. So what classes out of all of these do you think would be the best line for that?
I mean, if you're going into software engineering, that's just software engineering is mostly programming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like,
That's just a subsection of CS, really.
Yeah, I remember like some people said like you're also taking like other kinds of like engineering courses, and
Maybe the design process of it.
something like that. But like I've heard like sometimes it's like a bit of a joke.
Is it its own major?
Yeah, software
It is?
engineering is its own major.
Is that a major, Stevens?
Yes.
Didn't
It
know.
is.
I knew
yes,
some
actually,
places offered that as a major, but
Yeah, I didn't know Stevens.
Yeah, they have software engineering.
They do. Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Would it require any of these, if not most of these courses? Because they would probably
There's probably a good amount of them. Probably not all of them.
Yeah.
They probably have their own set of classes as well.
Yeah.
Well, if it's engineering, there's definitely going to be another requirement.
Yeah.
If you go to the courses required.
NG transfer website.
Yeah, we can. Wait, did you finish this?
No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah, senior design.
No, I also have 392.46.
Yep.
Alright. And alright, I'm just gonna finish this. CS 392 systems programming. You will be learning in C. You will be learning like the Linux terminal. Honestly, for me that was a fun course, especially with the later programming assignments. And you'll also be taking 496, which is principles of programming languages. You'll be learning like how certain like programming languages work, and you'll be learning in a language called OCaml, which is a I forgot the type of language it was called. It was like you're able, because like you're working, like you can also like create your own your own recursion function, your own have like your own let function, and you'll be working with an interpreter, which will then like you say like, okay, let x plus let x equal 1, and then basically you're just parsing it and parsing that sentence. So it'd be like let okay, and then it's going to say x equals 1. You're gonna have a variable which has its own ID, and that 1 being an integer will be placed inside of the x's environment. Does that make sense? And did I lose anybody?
Solid. You did a solid explanation.
Okay, cool. And then finally, for 423 and 424, these are your senior design courses. Senior design 1 is fall only. Senior design 2 is spring only, and you have to do it in that order, because this will be like your big project. Because at the end of senior design 2, you will be presenting your product to your companies, or at least your MVP, which stands for minimum value product. To these companies, it's like the Innovation Expo. That's what they call it.
Are you by any chance in those?
Yeah, I'm currently in senior design 1. I'm actually my partner came up with this idea to create a website through HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, 3 languages, which I've never touched. So I'm trying to touch on that right now. And yeah, pretty much the objective is to pretty much reduce the wait time for a customer at a restaurant to wait for their food. So like they don't have to wait for a waiter or a waitress. They can just put their order. They can just scan a QR code and order that way, and submit their order, and yeah.
Very nice. Good luck with that.
Yeah, appreciate it. All right, and these are the technical electives in the computer science field.
You don't have to go over all of them. You can just go over like the big ones.
Yeah. So some of the more important ones, you have AI, and machine learning. So you'll be taking artificial intelligence and machine learning fundamentals and applications, and you do need to take linear algebra. Yes, the Bergen linear algebra will transfer over.
So take it here.
Yeah.
It transfers over, and it unlocks literally every single AI class, and it also counts towards one of your technical electives,
Yes.
which you need to take 11 technical electives.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's true.
Yeah,
And
Any
so,
of you taken some of these yet?
I've taken that one.
yeah.
The rest of these, no. For first semester, before you can take most of these, like you need to be like
Yeah, it's
you
like,
have to
as
be
long-
at
as long
least
as you-
here to
Yeah.
even
Okay.
like start taking.
Yeah, as long as you if you could satisfy algorithms, systems programming, like you'll be able to like open yourself up to some technical electives.
Yeah, but you need to be there first, which you can't do in your first
Yeah.
semester. I'm pretty sure for this course, this is a requirement. So before you can take like all the technical electives, you need to at least be in your third semester after transferring. Because there's no way you're going to transfer algorithms. There's no way you're going to transfer system programming. We don't have equivalents here.
So, thank you. And for now, you have your security. You're gonna have discrete mathematics for cryptography. This is more for like the kind of like the cybersecurity side of just like the computer science. And we have application development. These are going to be graduate courses because we're at the 500 level now. You're going to have web programming, web programming 2. Just to give you guys an example, those are like the two big courses of application development. And now you're gonna have or like if you want to work more on like just like the ideas of the computers, well you have theory, which is database management systems. This actually does transfer. Like, if you have taken like SQL here, like DMS here, that does transfer over.
That's really good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, because like the kind of the reason why I took SQL here was also because I took a mini course when I did 3SP.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
you said these are grad courses, so would they fulfill your requirement if you do want to continue into a grad degree? And is it is it undergraduate tuition?
It's undergraduate tuition.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think like if you were to take like the 600 level course like this, you would definitely need permission. Yeah, so like if you have to like fill the requirements, and also I believe you need permission to take that graduate course. All right. So and then finally, which is more of where I kind of want to be. Yeah, this is systems. So this is low level computer science. This is also like you're working with like operating systems like Mac OS, iOS, Windows, Linux, Android. So of course they recommend CS 492 operating systems, and they're 500 level. You're going to have computer architecture, and the systems administration, and you're going to have the concurrent programming, which is actually what I'm taking right now. And the professor that is teaching that also teaches principles in programming languages. I really like him. He's really good. Yes.
So you needed permission to take those, the 400 ones?
Not the 400 ones. Those are undergrad. You can take the 400s.
So you said 500 of them.
500 is like as long as you meet the undergraduate requirements, you're good. The 600 level courses are meant to be for the grad students. So I believe you do need permission for them.
Got it.
Yeah. Any questions?
One note about this is the idea of having all these in separate categories is these are categories you can specialize in. Obviously, there's way more courses than what we have here. There's enough courses in each of them that you can take nothing but that type of course for your technical electives. So you can just specialize in things. You know, what is it that you said you were doing?
Your AI and what?
Yeah, I was gonna get into that. Barry is doing systems, right?
Yes. More on the system side, and I also decided to because the schedule came out like a few days ago. I'm also decided to take I'll try AI ML.
So systems and AI ML, a bit of AI ML, and I'm doing like a full mix between theory and AI and machine learning.
Right.
And
you're getting a math.
Eduardo, this doesn't apply to you because you're actually following the major.
Yeah,
right?
well,
This is just a concentration within CS.
yeah, we'll
Okay,
get
next.
to that.
Got
I
it.
think that's next slide.
Which is really funny. You can be a general CS major and then just specialize in security, which is different from a cybersecurity major.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yours will be like a minor.
Yeah.
Are you done?
Happiness?
Yes.
Good.
All right, your turn, Sean.
I think
Oh wait,
this is
no,
what we
other
were-
electives. Never mind. I got this.
Yeah.
So, obviously, we have more than just the CS and mathematics. A lot of this will be transferred. I think all of yours transferred, right? You don't have any humanities left. Did you have any humanities left when you transferred? Probably like three. Yeah, I also have three. I have three general ones, and I have.
I'm sorry. I had to take 4, including HMS 371.
Okay, yeah. So we're in the same boat. So both of us have 4 left, including this one that's very specific. You have to take. He had none left,
That's nice.
but he also didn't get like a lot of the data structures and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Which that's fine. I mean, he doesn't have to take humanities ever again, which is like even better, honestly. I'd rather just take those courses again than have to take more humanities. But anyways, these 3 humanities here are required. You have to take these 3. Cal 103 and Cal 105. These are your writing 101 and writing 102 requirements.
You guys will be, if you are taking those courses, I'm pretty sure that those are required.
Yeah.
You'll be okay. You don't have to worry about the writing in.
I even transferred my 100 and 200 level English courses to Bergen, and they accepted my 200 level, but made me take English 1 again.
That's a little weird.
Explain. I don't know.
Anyways,
Yeah.
so yeah, with these two classes literally follow the same structure as the writing courses here. I almost actually took this class because of some transfer stuff that went wrong. When I realized this class was literally just this class, I was like, why am I here? So I literally went and complained to someone and got it transferred, which is why I'm in this class now.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, no, these classes literally follow the same structure here, where this class is meant to be more focused on how to write a paper and about, college level writing and that stuff like that. While this is supposed to be like an exploration of literature, stuff that's supposed to be interesting, stuff that's supposed to get you reading and, paying attention to literature itself, while also talking about, knowledge, culture, nature, set that in the wrong order. On top of that, we have computers and society. These are required for all students. This is required for CS students. I'm taking that course right now. It's actually nice. My class has 0 exams and I have 2 projects. That's the entire set of the class. I just have to go attend lectures and that's it.
Attendance is 30%.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
For
But
that one specifically, or just saying?
That one specifically.
Oh, okay.
yeah. But that's specific for my class though.
Yeah,
I don't know if your class your class might have exams or something.
No, we don't.
No?
No, same thing.
Who do you have?
Dr. Sansevier.
Oh, okay. Wait. Yeah, oh, we have the same professor. That's why. Because I know other professors also give like exams and stuff. But I got lucky with my professor and I don't have to take exams or anything.
Cool.
So that class is nice. It's all about like the ethics in computing. It's a very boring course. There's a few interesting things here and there. It's like, I would have never thought about that. Anyways, I'm gonna forget it in a week.
You're talking about computers in society?
Yep.
Yeah, I also had a professor who just, he was also good, but when I took it, it was also his last semester, so it was like, we kind of just BS'd it. Yeah, I even had like our own discussion time, which was like initially I was going for the one at Anadium, and I was like there was one time like where I hopped in a Zoom call for 9 a.m. and I was like the only one there. We only had like a one-on-one conversation. But it was just so weird.
Yeah.
But he's in he's somewhere else too. He found something better.
Got it.
So,
Anyways, that course covers stuff like e-waste, just kind of mining for toxic metals that go into computers, third world countries. All that sort of stuff that vaguely has to do with building a computer, but not really.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Ethics in computer science
Very nice.
and how computers impact society. There's also a whole history lecture part of it, where it's like the history of computers from the beginning,
Oh,
which was the only real interesting part.
yeah.
And I'm actually doing and I did my midterm project on it. I explored one of the first computers and I programmed for it.
Which one did you go for?
Oh yeah, I saw.
Oh,
TRS-80.
Yeah.
I posted it on the STEM
Yeah,
Discord.
yeah, okay.
Or not STEM
Was it?
Discord, CS Discord.
It was in there.
So, yes.
It wasn't like share content.
CT. Sorry. But, I posted it in the Comtech Club Discord, so you could see my progress on the project.
You also posted your classes too, right?
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Oh yeah, I posted it a while ago.
Yeah.
I posted my schedule of the classes I'm going to take in the future, along with the electives I chose and all that sort of stuff. If you scroll up far enough, you can find it. If anyone wants it specifically, just ask me for it. I'll send it over to you. It's just my plan for the rest of Stevens. And I'll also cover the courses that transferred for me. And if you want to know where those classes came from, what I took to get that transfer, I can also look that up for you.
I literally quizzed him for an hour. I was on Zoom chat because Jacob is a great math tutor.
He's a
Yeah.
Yeah, he was with me for an appointment.
Yeah, I was quizzing him on all his classes and stuff. It was super helpful, super interesting.
But that's that course. So after that, you have 5 more you have to take that are within the humanities section. One of them must be a 100 to 200 level. One of them must be a 300 to 400 level. Which this is the interesting one, because you're barely going to ever find a class that's going to transfer for that.
Yeah,
I think macroeconomics transfer. That's the only one I can think of.
There we go. Nice.
Ah.
Yeah, I did, but what did you have for macroeconomics?
I don't know his name. No.
Like, did it start with an S?
No.
No. Okay. No.
So you did that as a free elective?
No, it was part of like for IT. I had to get it done.
So you recommend instead of doing statistics, we should do macroeconomics?
Oh yeah, none of
I'm
statistics.
not recommending either of those courses.
None of statistics.
He recommends linear algebra.
I recommend linear algebra.
This
Yeah,
is
linear
algebra
algebra,
based. They
definitely.
do calculus based.
No,
macroeconomics.
No.
algebra based.
It doesn't transfer at
Here's
all.
algebra based. Here's calculus.
I took statistics as a free elective here, just to get my degree here.
Yeah,
I didn't
but-
expect it to transfer.
So what should you take so that it transfers there as a free elective? No,
No, linear algebra you can't do.
My macroeconomics transferred over.
Is that a free elective?
Yeah, it counted as an elective.
Yeah, so you can take macroeconomics and have that transfer your 300 or 400.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I honestly, like I took when I took macroeconomics here, I thought it was pretty good because like even the guy, the professor, he was like on, I think he was also like on like Wall Street a little bit. I think he retired. But,
Nice.
Yeah. I forgot his name though. Oh well. Anyways.
But yeah, for this, because I have to take this still, my plan is to take music theory 1, 2, and 3. Not recommended, but I'm doing it anyways.
I'll have you all know that you don't have to take music theory 3 for a music degree. You don't need it. You only take up to music 2.
And if I take music theory 4, music composition 1 and 2, I can have a music minor. Just a bunch of music theory. Which is just crazy to think about.
So for doing 400 level, you have to take music 1, 2, 3.
Because music 3, music,
Three
yeah,
is a
music,
prerequisite for 4.
music 3 is the 300, 400 level, and then 1 and 2 are my 200, or my 100, 200 levels.
Okay.
Because you only need at least one of these, so the rest of them can be whatever. I'm going to take music theory 1 and 2, so that I can then open up music theory 3 and take that for this requirement. Again, not recommended, but I'm doing it anyways because it's fun. Because I need 3
Yeah, we'll
humanities.
see about that. See how fun it is.
It's going to be fun. I take 3 general humanities, 3 just humanity electives. Those are the 3 I chose.
Cool.
But like, there's a lot of different things you could do with this. But like, my recommendation is find something within humanities you like. Just stack a few of them on top of each other until you build up to that 300 level, and just do that. It's either that or you take like a macroeconomics course and you just take a bunch of general electives.
Also, I realized you get for the show of hands who's a CS major in here. You. Okay, yeah. So I'm guessing you guys have taken Introduction to Logic.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, that counts.
Nope.
That counts as an elective.
Wait.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Is
it
it-
counts as an elective, but it's not 300, 400.
No, I know, but I mean, like, it still helps.
Yeah, I thought you were about to say that it counts as 300, 400. I was about to see, like, that's BS. I took that, and that didn't transfer to 300, 400.
No, it doesn't. But you know, it does help out with your humanity.
Yeah, I took music history here, and that counted as a general elective. Like, whatever you take here is humanities, they will transfer as general humanities. Like, and even if they don't transfer as a general humanity, they'll take it as a general elective. Yeah, because you need 2 general electives as well. And then you also need,
math and science elective.
yes, you need 2 other math and science courses, which aren't a part of your degree.
Like linear algebra counts.
Mhm.
Linear algebra does count, yes.
Well, linear algebra counts as either a elective or a technical elective.
Oh, so you can't stack them.
You can't stack them,
Yes.
but you can do one or the other.
Is
You
there
can choose
any
where it
class
goes.
that you figured out kind of did a couple of the requirements? Or-
There are a few that you can't take for this, especially as CS. Like, I have discrete mathematics as a course I've taken, but that doesn't work for this
Why?
because it overlaps with discrete structures. It's because it's an overlap with one of my core classes.
So it
Because-
exclusively transfers as a core class or a technical elective, and they can't overlap, basically.
Yeah, if it's in a, because there are courses that are like called equivalent
Mhm.
at Stevens, where like it's the same course, but it's more oriented towards a specific degree. Like discrete mathematics is more towards a math degree, while discrete structures is more towards a CS degree.
Gotcha. So they make
And
it
they're
distinct.
kind of like the same in material, but they don't interchange each other.
Mm.
But because they're so similar, they don't count them as electives.
Interesting.
So what
but-
other elective are you taking? For
For
math and science?
for math and science, I am doing differential equations in elementary number theory. Number theory I'm taking right now. It's a really fun course. It's all proofs. Nothing but proofs.
So fun.
Proofs, all proofs, and nothing but the proofs.
So much fun.
You can also take science courses for it as well, which
Like, which one, like physics?
Biology, biology.
So does physics 1 count for them?
yeah, but it also counts as your science 1 and 2. So you'd much rather fill them out for your science 1 and 2 and then just take math courses for that.
Oh,
Let's be honest, if we're CS people here, we don't want to take more science
yeah,
courses.
the science elective I took was biology and biotechnology, which is a bio 281. That's the one I took to satisfy my math science electives.
Yeah, and I'm going for a math minor. It's not official yet, but I am going to go for one, which is why I have such weird math courses in there. Because you can actually go for a math minor and not take any extra courses. Because both of the statistics courses count as a math minor. You need 6 courses for the math minor. Those 2 statistics courses count. Modern algebra and linear algebra are both technical electives. And then you just fill out these other 2 math electives with math minor stuff.
Oh. So you did statistics 1 and 2 over here?
No, I'm taking them over there.
2?
They don't transfer.
So you took 1.
I took one here that didn't transfer. I have to
So
take them all
again,
again.
you take it again there?
Yeah, because this one that's here is algebra based.
It's not even algebra based. It's arithmetic based.
Arithmetic.
There it's calculus based?
Yeah, because CS 150 or sorry, Math 150 here does not require Math 160. So the highest level you take before Math 150 is 048. Yes?
So I just searched it up, and I'm not sure if it will be like related to this, but I saw that C++ is very necessary with rocket science programming. Why would that be?
Because if you're shooting a rocket into space, you probably want the precision of a programming language. C++ being a very bare bones programming language is probably faster than anything else you can write. So if you need something to be very precise and very fast, you want to write in a very bare bones language like C++.
So they're teaching us so much C++.
What?
For
In the Bergen, yep.
so they're
So we
teaching
can
us.
become our own time.
Yeah, that's why we're trying to become rocket scientists. We're trying to destroy the saying "I'm not a rocket scientist," because now you are,
Yeah.
and you should know it.
Wow.
Alright.
Yeah. We can move on to the next one. Does anyone have any questions about electives?
I think you guys did a great job. Yeah.
Alright, cool. Now it's Eddie's job.
Yeah, for the sake of time, because I know it's late and it's Friday, I'm not gonna take too long. And well, basically the cybersecurity program at Stevens, there's a very basic way to define it. It's pretty much an extension of the computer science program. So this is pretty new. I think it's been a thing for like 7 years or so. And yeah, like I said, it's pretty much the first years are gonna be CS. So everything that we have covered so far, but the electives, like the technical elective, the 11 that you saw, all that is not part of the cybersecurity program. But before that, like data structures, that intro course, algorithms, and all that, computer organization, all that counts. So so when you complete or fulfill all those requirements, you start with the actual cybersecurity program, which I have listed some of the courses that you're gonna be taking here. I'm not really gonna go in deep because I'm not as experienced as Barry and Stevens. This is my first semester, and I don't really know how they'll work or what the content is. But I do know that the like the CS program, where you have like a lot of paths to take, depending on what you want to specialize on. Here, you're basically specializing in cybersecurity, so it's not like you're gonna have to take a lot of electives, you know. So this is essentially what you're gonna have to take, like all this. This is pretty much it. There's just 1 or 2 missing that I haven't included. And well, yeah, this is also this is a first year class, but since they don't offer something equivalent to this is like an HTML course. So if you guys have experience with HTML and JavaScript, this is gonna be an ECA for you. And like I said, it's a first year course, so it's like very easy. And even if you don't know HTML, it's very easy. There's a big project, and yeah, it's a fun class. Everything else, like from here and on, it's from your junior year and above. They have some, well, a lot of their classes are graduate level, as you can see. And if you go online and check the cybersecurity master's degree, you're gonna notice that they very similar. Like the master's for cybersecurity is very similar to the undergraduate. It's pretty much the same. So if your plan is to go for a cybersecurity degree at Stevens, I wouldn't really recommend getting the graduate degree because it's going to be a lot of overlapping. So this is pretty much the specialization. Yeah,
You said you would or wouldn't recommend?
I wouldn't.
Oh, you wouldn't recommend.
I wouldn't.
To do a graduate?
And these don't like transfer over, they're not equivalent, right?
They do, but like I said, it's pretty much that you're gonna be doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah,
So
okay.
A lot of these also are your electives for CS.
Mhm.
You can actually probably do most of cybersecurity, and then just transfer over to CS last minute, and you probably wouldn't even have to take you probably have to take like 1 or 2 extra classes, and that's it.
yeah, that's fine. So one big thing about cybersecurity, and I hear this a lot, and this is pretty popular. People say, "I don't want to program. I want to go into cybersecurity because I don't like coding." And that's totally valid. I mean, that's fine. If you want to do cybersecurity because you don't like to code, I totally get that. However, if that's your case, probably Stevens doesn't really fit you because the cybersecurity program, like you just saw all the programming that you're going to do during the first and second year, and probably third like and a half year, and that's a lot of programming. So this program focuses on a lot of pen testing. So that's the main goal of the cybersecurity at Stevens, make you a penetration tester. There's a lot of extracurriculars for CS and cybersecurity. So there's this cybersecurity defense team in which it's very cool because they have a blue team and red team. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's basically blue team is offensive security and red team is defensive security. So if you guys don't want to learn extracurricular things that don't really require coding or don't necessarily require you to be a skilled programmer, you can go to those extracurriculars and just get those skills like using Kali Linux and stuff like that. So you do have options. Just bear in mind that if you don't want to code and you want to go to cybersecurity at Stevens just because of that, you're going to have a hard time. So not an option. And yeah, those are the courses. Like I said, this is like the linear sequence. So it's not like you're going to have more options like the CS program, since you already specified that you want to do cybersecurity. So yeah, that's what it's going to look like. You go to the next
Also,
slide.
I want to mention one of the benefits of being a cybersecurity major as opposed to computer science is you don't have to take CS 101.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But you do have to take this one, which is the equivalent to CS 101.
Well, that's better. Honestly, I'd rather.
It's better.
It's harder, but I'd rather take that than CS.
Yeah, it's better.
CS 101's a joke.
You're gonna have fun, and yours, you're not gonna have fun. Then here, you're gonna have fun. So, only difference. Yeah.
Do you know if you could transfer in for CS 146? Because I know there's like a web development.
I doubt it because this class covers 3 different languages: CSS, HTML,
and JavaScript.
JavaScript, and also
this is-
networking.
So Bergen routes might transfer.
Yeah, this is all basically enough. That it's all front end development.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So no, I don't think you could.
Okay.
Next up.
Yeah, you can move. So these are electives. So as a cybersecurity major, you're gonna have the option to take 3 electives, and these are just some of the options. We just included them what we saw as the most interesting thing. So I mean, I like reverse engineering, and I feel like that's an amazing thing that you can do. Even though I do not know about a lot about it, but I know the basic concepts. It's pretty cool, and you're gonna have a lot of options. As you can see, this is not CS, this is EE. If you ask us why, we don't really know. But you have a lot of options. You're going to have to take 3 of those, mostly in your senior year. So the senior design thing, it's almost the same. Well, it's basically the same. You're going to have to do the senior design with a project. Obviously, this is going to be a cybersecurity-based project, so keep that in mind. And you're going to have to take those electives that are just going to be like to get more specific within the specific field. So you're already specific because you're doing cybersecurity, that's something specific about CS. So if you know what you want to do specifically within cybersecurity, that's why you take those electives. So if you want to go for reverse engineering or whatever other thing you see here, database security, so yeah, that's the main purpose of the electives. And yeah, for this cybersec problem, we call it SciSec, or just CSEC, I don't know, it has a lot of acronyms, but whatever. For the cybersec problem, this is pretty much it. I would say it's very much like the CS program, except for the last 2 years. And yeah. So can you go to the next slide? Okay, now that we have, sorry, yes.
Since you're an IT major, and this is very similar to CS.
Oh, you should probably talk about transferring.
Would you say transferring has been a bit of an issue?
Well, so as an IT major, yes, you will have an issue. It won't really impact your application in general. If you want to switch your major at Stevens, so like let's say you're a general science and you want to go for CS, that won't impact your application, even though you're not gonna have to do programming stuff. That's not something that's gonna impact, but it will impact the amount of credits that you have to take there, and therefore probably you're gonna have to graduate in 3 years, not 2. So that's the only issue that you're gonna have.
It seems like for the CS stuff, there's so much. Like it doesn't seem possible to graduate in 2.
Oh, you don't. It's 2.5.
Yeah.
For me, I'm doing 2.5. I'm assuming he's also doing 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not so bad.
there's no way you could transfer enough to get.
Yeah, I can't. Well, maybe
You would
I-
have to take very specific courses to transfer, and even then, you wouldn't even be able to go for an associate's degree here.
So here's the thing.
Because like there are some
Okay.
classes for the associate's degree here that just don't transfer no matter what you do. Like public speaking is required here. It's not required there.
Intro to
They don't even
Linux.
have a public speaking course.
Intralinks.
Yeah,
No.
Intro to Linux obviously does.
I
as
thought
well.
that computer organization wouldn't either.
Although for a
That's-
1 credit course, I'd rather take Intro to Linux than CS 101.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, it's that bad?
They don't teach anything.
I thought Professor Toronto was pretty good.
I saw a hand right there. Did you raise your hand? No? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, so now we go to the fun stuff. In case you're not a CS major, because I think not everybody here is a CS major, we're also going to cover general things like the transfer process, which I feel like is something very useful when it comes to applying to schools in general. So this probably applies to you, not just if you want to go to Stevens, but in general to transfer. So you're going to have to use Common App. To start us off, I'm just going to have you raise your hand if you know what Common App is. Okay, so I don't really need to talk about that. You guys know.
You guys are all
Yeah.
champs already.
Gladly, Stevens uses Common App. I know a lot of schools have like their own system, which is very annoying. It's not the case for Stevens. And these are the requirements, like what you actually need to submit. You're gonna have to write an essay, 500 to 600 word essay describing your educational journey and why Stevens is your top choice. Stevens is not so picky when it comes to the essays, because I know Columbia and other prestigious schools, they want you to mention very specific things that they have. Because they get like a lot of applicants, they get a lot of applications, they get thousands, and they won't take all, like their acceptance rate is very little. So for Stevens, it's not really the case. I mean, the acceptance rate is like 50, 40.
Not for transfers.
For transfers, I think it's a little bit lower, but
It's
still.
lower than 20. It's like 12.
Oh yeah,
Really?
no, it's 20, it's 20.
It's
Why?
20?
23.
I've heard it's been lower in other years.
Probably, but last year was 23.
Mhm.
So, well, point is, Stevens, I'm not saying they won't care, because they will, but you don't really have to write the best essay of your life. I mean, go for it, aim for it, that's the point. But don't feel too pressured, because I know it can be a little bit overwhelming, but that's very important. And I would highly suggest going to the Writing Center. What's up?
I was about to say that as well. Writing Center does also help with these sorts of essays, and they also help with resume. Do they help with resume? I think there are specific tutoring things.
There
that
are
help with
specific,
resume.
tutors that can help you out with that.
But also your STEM advisors, Matthew Green, and I cannot remember the other one's
Matt
name.
Green might come in for a resume workshop.
Yeah, he does a lot of
Yeah, he
those.
likes to do that.
You can also go to him directly. You can just schedule an appointment with him, and he will work with you directly on his resume. And I actually, it's funny enough, I got my resume template from someone else, who then got it from him. So I came to him with his resume template. He's like, "Wait, where'd you get this template from?" I'm like, "Oh, I got it from this student." He's like, "That's just my template." But yeah, no, if you go to him, he can even just give you a template, and you can get started working on it. Come back to him and say, "Hey, here's what I have. You know, what do you recommend I do better?" And also with the essay, I went to Matthew. I told Matthew, I'm like, "Yeah, I have this essay." He's like, "Anything else for your transfer?" I'm like, "I have this essay, well, but I don't know if you want to go over." He's like, "Yeah, just send it to me, and I'll send back like corrections and stuff." And then after I got corrections from him, I then after that brought that to the Writing Center as well, and they helped me as well. So you can take advantage of these tools and build like a very good essay and build a very good resume as well.
Absolutely.
And we'll also talk about things you could put on your resume, in a bit. I think it's a slide after this.
So yeah, essay, required components, highly suggested to use the Writing Center. It'll be very helpful. And yeah, for Common App, just mentioning this for like the transfer process in general. This is like a generic essay for Common App. So obviously for Stevens, they'll say Stevens, but if it's for another school, they'll just say the name of that school. So in general, you're gonna have to write about your educational journey. So another tip that I would give you is that you make a generic essay, and then you just like tweak it for your specific school. Yeah,
Change
for
the
your
name of the school as my.
Right.
Make it more
Yeah,
specific.
so that's a pretty good advice for Common App because it's a little bit overwhelming and you don't want to be writing 15 different essays describing your educational journey in each of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to have a template and then go specific about whatever you want to mention about the school that you're applying to.
Yeah, if you're applying just to Stevens, you're probably doing something wrong. You
Yeah,
probably want at least a backup school.
true.
At
Yes.
the very least, if you're going for Stevens, you should at least have one other school. Like a really
True.
easy school like Rutgers or NJIT.
So your resume is not required, but I would say submit it anyways because it makes a huge impact. Yeah, like we said here, it highly increases chances of admission. So if you guys don't have one, you can use the resources that they just mentioned, Matthew Greeny and the Writing Center and whatever else you can find here at Bergen. Resume is a big thing, and they can definitely make the impact on whether you get accepted or not. So great thing to keep in mind. And finally, transcripts. That's pretty straightforward. You're just gonna have to submit them. For the college, yeah, I think you can't really send them directly. So you need to request them through our website that I don't remember the name. I don't know if you guys have it. National Clearinghouse, something like that.
Yeah,
there's one.
that's
Yeah,
what the
and,
national
yeah, you
security
request them, you pay a $350 fee, and then they send it directly to the school. So that's for the college one. And then you also have to send high school transcripts, which I don't know if you're worried about it, but it won't make an impact like at all. Like they just want to make sure you actually graduated from high school. I don't know how it will work for your high school, but in my case, I had to go to my high school and request them and have them
Yeah,
send
same,
it to Stevens.
same here.
So you probably want to start paying attention to those details. What's up?
I have
Yes.
a question. If you have done high school in another country,
Mm-hmm.
do you have to pay another organization, third party, to evaluate it in terms of American standards and then submit it?
You're definitely going to have to translate them to English, and then I don't know how exactly it will work, like the way they send it, but yes, that's something you probably want to email the International Admissions Department. But that's all I can tell you. Definitely translate it to English. Talk to your high school back in your country, and they'll help you out with that. Because I'm pretty sure they have more cases, so they'll probably know what to do.
Also,
Yeah, there are people there who like literally like that's their first time in the country. So so everything they have when they go there, not transfer students, but just first year students. There are first year students who come from other countries, and their first time in the country is when they transfer. So I'm pretty sure they have a whole system for international students.
You won't struggle
Yeah.
with that. You'll be fine. They have a solid system. For
And
it.
most is an extra step or two.
So that's in general. That's overall the requirements that you need. To
One
transfer.
other thing,
What's up?
they require for your college courses when you transfer them, they require the syllabus for all your classes.
What?
Yes, they do. They
Yeah.
do.
What?
How do you
Alright,
get
so
it?
yeah, I'll
Yeah,
explain.
There's a
ensure-
website, but also at the beginning of every class you take, they also give it to you then.
Yeah, so this is how
There's
that
also
works.
a website at Bergen where you can get every transcript.
Yeah,
And if it's not
initially-
on there, you just ask around.
So
Marcus?
initially, you're gonna submit an application. Like initially, you're gonna submit your
Yeah.
application, and you won't have to
It's a really cool.
upload the syllabus. And then they're gonna create a portal, like automatically. Whatever. Then they're gonna create a portal, and they're gonna send you the link. So on the portal, you're gonna have to upload the syllabus of each course. So if you're asking how you get it, you can just type, like, let's say, you can just type CS 165 BCC. Literally, type that on Google, and it'll show up. So you just go and download the PDF, and then you have to
But it-
upload each of the credits that you want to transfer.
But would it be CIS?
Yeah,
true,
yeah.
CIS.
CIS.
So just do this for each of the credits that you want to transfer, like math 281, right? Yeah,
Yes.
BCC.
Calc 2.
Yeah. Or calculus 2 if you want to go with the whole name. I would do it this way. It worked. I did it this way and it worked. So just type like each of those until you have all the syllabuses, put them in a folder, and then just upload each of those. You don't really have to like do any description. You will, however, have to enter information like your grade, so like let's say 8, and then when you took it, so for example fall 2020, and then I think name of the professor. So for example, Dr. Wang. And finally, you apply the syllabus.
You had one for 165?
Yeah, same here. I had one.
Well,
Really?
he's making up.
Very bad.
Really? Not Louis?
So this is
It's an option. You can take any one of them.
Okay.
There's like 100 different.
I had a guy
courses
from
you
like
take in the
Willie
class.
P. He was like an adjunct from Willie P. That's
Yeah.
why I don't
so this
I
is
don't
something that
understand.
you're gonna do for every competitive school, private school, selective school, whatever. Not just for Stevens, so keep that in mind. You don't do it for Rutgers, but if you want to Columbia, Cornell, whatever, those schools require you to do this.
Stupid.
So just keep it in mind. And yeah, that's
They
what's
can find it
required.
themselves.
It's
All that sounds like they don't actually check your grade.
Not really, because if they did, they
Because
would
they're gonna put it in
credits
for
that Stevens.
everything, right? Are they really gonna
So
check?
you still need it.
Gamble.
And yeah, that's in terms of what you need.
they probably just do a calculation.
What if I fake a degree from a college that is closed down?
See, here's the thing: is you can't send them your transcripts directly. You have to send them through another
Through
school.
the school. What if my college is closed down? And is no longer in business? A big what if. Right?
Yeah, that's a really big what if.
I'm curious. I bet there's a lot of people that get through like that. Like you put on your resume, you go to a college that's closed down. How are they gonna find out if you went there
Yeah.
now? Right? It's a little devious.
I mean, you probably
Sorry to get
still have to
off
send them
topic.
your syllabus just because of that alone. So if you send them, hey, these are the classes I've taken, you know.
Right.
So that's it for the transfer process and for the cybersecurity program. Now,
I will note though that we could have put more in here, but everything else that you could put on here is very generic and information you probably know off the top of your own head. Like obviously they'll ask for stuff like GPA, your address, normal transferring stuff.
Yeah.
Don't even worry. Like when I was first approached about this, I was told like put a bunch about transferring. It's like there's not much to transferring. I know like just as a community college, when you look at transferring, it's like, oh, it's this big process, it's this big thing. It's not really. It's literally just you filling out a bunch of applications. Maybe you take a month to fill out the application, but you're just filling out applications, sending them out, and seeing if a school accepts or rejects you. Put your best foot forward, and you see if you get accepted or not. It's not. There's not really much to even say about transferring, other than here are the basics to what you need and what you don't need.
Did any of you guys do like one-on-one credit evaluations or things of that nature?
Um,
No.
Had to.
One little fun fact about me is that when I applied, I thought I took like there was like an early admissions deadline, which was November 15th for me, and I was able to submit my application for that on that day. Then I waited until like January and February to hear back from them. I didn't hear anything back from them. So I emailed their admissions office and they said like, yeah, for transfer students, their deadline is May 15th. I had to wait 7 months for that deadline to reach, and then I had to wait until June 15th, another month to hear back from them saying that I've been accepted.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
brutal.
Yeah, it's no.
thing to keep in mind.
So yeah, I mean like hey, but like the earlier you apply, that's actually the better. I feel like that's more of like a better chance of that you have of getting in, because say like hey, like this person applied very early, and their application looks pretty good. So
And also another moment of me not being a good role model is I handed it in a few days later and I still got accepted. I handed in like the main form like the day of, and I was like, hey, I'm still waiting back on like a few transcripts and stuff. They're like, yeah, that's fine. We can wait a few days.
Yeah.
So like I literally sent stuff in late and they still accepted me as a student.
yeah.
So yeah, that's it for me. Now we're gonna talk a little bit about extracurriculars, and that'll be it. I promise.
Yeah.
I think that's for you.
Yeah, you guys are doing great though.
Oh, at Bergen, yes, that one's for me. Okay, so here are a bunch of things at Bergen that if you do, these are gonna look really good for transferring. So obviously at
Nice.
the top we have Phi Theta Kappa. Whether or not you join the E-War for Phi Theta Kappa, it's still a really good thing to have. 3.8 GPA requirement, and you pay a small fee to get in, but Stevens actually gives a scholarship to anyone who is a PTK member. It's $5,000 per semester, and I think
Nice.
it's for 4 semesters.
5,000 a year.
Oh, $5,000 a year for 4 semesters. So that's $10,000 in total for paying a small fee of like what, $80 or something.
Yeah, 80.
Yeah.
You have to maintain a 3.2 GPA at Stevens to keep those scholarships. Keep that in mind.
Oh.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I
with-
believe,
with
I believe
every
at
college
the
it's
at the end
like
at the end of a year you have to keep it at a 3.2.
But also, if you have this at Bergen, are you really struggling? to keep it 3.2. Anyways, there's also 3SP, the famous one.
Mm-hmm.
3SP is all about academic research. It's essentially the only program in the entire nation that does research on the community college level. Only school that offers it.
Nice.
Only school that also has a big STEM center like we do. And that's where the research is done. That happens over the summer and the winter. There are thousands of projects to work on. Not actually thousands, but like there's maybe 10 to 20 projects to work on over there. One of them we have plenty of people here who are part of it. Bergen Rats.
Is it Edmund?
Who's trying to map out the school and create a program
And
to
you.
essentially be a GPS to get around the
You
school.
too.
I'm also part of that group.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I thought of it. Were either of you guys part of projects?
Here?
Yeah.
These guys will make it.
Ethical hacking,
yeah.
database hacking.
Yeah, ethical hacking.
Ethical hacking with a malicious software and database.
I was gonna
Oh,
do
both
that.
of you.
Oh yeah, you were both. Yeah, right. I know you were ethical hacking.
I was
Being
in
stupid,
I was in the summer of 2020, which was like the first year. I was one of the first 3 people. Cohort 4. Yeah.
And
but-
we were 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're safe.
Yeah. I was
If you guys are 6, I'm 5.
Yeah.
I'm cohort 4, and yeah, I was like at first like we were trying to like show off a little bit of our our little C++ skills, and then like a few other people came in. That's when we worked with like malicious software, like accessing like certain apps through C++ commands, and then we were able to present that during the midpoint of the summer, and then we transferred to our next task was to try and integrate C++ into MySQL and to create a database within C++, and then just trying to get into it and maliciously, of course.
Okay. So yeah, the other thing about 3SP is we also have a requirement of a 3.75 GPA. It's probably one of the largest GPA requirements on campus, but again, this is only something that you can do in Bergen Community College. So it's really only for the advanced, and I'll be honest, even with that requirement alone, I've still seen some people who've gotten into it who weren't like good enough for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are definitely some people who just slip through the cracks and they're just like not for it. So that's why that requirement's so high, is because you really need to know what you're doing to even be able to be capable of doing something like this on a community college level. There are also other notable projects. The anthropomorphic robotic arm. It's hard to say with a dry mouth. They're all about building a robotic arm that can be used for people who don't have arms. That's pretty much about it. They want to hook it up to the brain, which is being done by the BCI project. They're all about reading brainwaves and controlling things through the brain. So those two groups are together. They're run by the same person, and they're trying to essentially make an arm for people who don't have arms. There's also
Prosthetic.
What?
Prosthetic.
Mind control.
There's also this like scan cam thing. I don't know.
Yes,
Yeah,
Scan
some
Cam,
jerk
that
worked
thing that
on
exists,
Scan
right?
Cam.
You know, that thing that I spent way too much time agonizing. a few crying nights. That group's all about making a recycling bin with artificial intelligence that can detect the item that's in front of it, and it will only open its doors if the item's recyclable. This keeps that recycling pure of contamination, which is good for both the environment and for the recycling companies for making a profit. So it's both profitable and environmentally friendly.
Wow, just look at you.
We actually just won a competition this last summer on it. $3,000 per member
Which was sick.
over
like,
in Virginia.
Crazy.
5-night event. Definitely didn't want to cry during that as well.
No, you totally did. I remember you telling me about it.
Yeah, no.
You weren't miserable.
After the great presentation, after I was told that we won, I was like, I cannot deal with people anymore. I'm going to go back to my room. So I just left everyone.
Nice.
So everyone was like going around congratulating my group. I was just chilling in my room playing Smash Bros.
Mood.
Yeah.
That's understandable. That's a mood.
Yeah.
That's a mood.
Very introverted mood.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyways,
It's a big one for you. Right?
yeah.
And were you also part of?
I was 3SP.
Tutoring.
No, I did not do the bottom 2, and yeah, I still managed to
Okay,
get
got
it.
it.
Yeah, no, these aren't required. These are just like
No,
all good
yeah,
things.
just
If you do
wondering
like one or
which
two
one.
of these, you're pretty much like set.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have a good chance of getting in. I did all of these though.
I feel like I should be doing tutoring.
B-board, what?
Tutoring and supplemental instruction. For tutoring, it requires a B+ or higher for every class that you tutor. And if you're tutoring in STEM, you have to tutor Mat 011, Mat 040, and Mat 160, which is essentially everything up to intermediate algebra, which is essentially required for every little class you take in STEM, which is why they require it, because if you're in STEM, you should know these classes by heart. If you don't, you're probably not doing well in your classes and probably shouldn't be a tutor in the first place. So yeah, you must pass a basic math exam, because most STEM people don't come into this school taking those courses. Most of them come in here and they transfer into Calc. They either get here from high school into Calc 1, or some people even transfer their AP credits and get into Calc 2. I know someone who was here who just graduated, Ting, if you know him.
Yeah.
I think he transferred his Calc 1 and Calc 2. I think he started off with Calc 3.
That's what Lisa did.
Yeah, she's doing that as well.
She's doing that, right?
Who?
Lisa now? She was in Bergen Rounds.
She was in Bergen Rounds,
She's doing the same thing.
Yeah, some people even do that. They transfer their AP courses and they get into like Calc 3 and then Mat 260 or 265 or something.
Yeah, he took AP credits.
Yeah, that is all my requirements.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, no, like if you get enough AP courses, you can just graduate in 1.5 semesters from here.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
But how many
That's what
boy
I'm saying.
geniuses like you would be ready to?
I didn't do that.
Well, obviously not.
I only took like
Except for Patan.
I only took 2 AP courses. See, my thing about that is I only take 2 AP courses, but I only did 3 years of high school.
That's so true.
So, so I'm still technically ahead. By the
Man,
fact that I just skipped
What was
the
I
whole
doing
year.
in high school?
Which AP courses did you take?
2.
Which ones?
Computer science and Calc 1.
Did you transfer them?
I can transfer either of them.
Okay.
Also for tutoring, you get paid to do that. So even if you don't want it as a resume booster, you have it as a part-time job on campus.
Yeah.
Literally, your job is literally just down by Duncan, and that's it. So it's a really convenient job to have. It's $15 an hour, and if you do SI, which I'll get to in a second, that's plus $1 per hour that you get. And also, if you stay with tutoring when you transfer, it will also be $18 an hour, and still, or I think it's either 18 or 17 an hour, and then there's a plus 1 for SI. I forget which one it is. I think it's 18
It's
and a plus
18.
1. Yeah, 18 and then a plus 1 for SI.
Yep.
Yeah, 18. Yeah. See, I don't even remember this. I don't even check what my paycheck is. I just know I get paid.
It's not good.
You might.
No, it's all
I make sure.
I suggest you take a look at your paycheck. Just
No, I do see that I get paid.
Okay.
Like I know I'm getting paid, obviously, but I don't know if I'm getting like
The right
how
amount.
much.
Yeah.
I don't want to start calculating tax and all that to see if I'm exactly getting as much as I was promised. I'm just gonna, assume the schools are screwing me over.
Not good, but yeah.
I know it's about 15 an hour. I know they are paying like student wage. Because if you do the math, it's obviously about 15 an hour.
Yeah, that's good.
So I know they're at least paying me somewhere in the ballpark.
Yeah.
If anything, they're overpaying me.
Good, let them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't even care. I don't even care to check it at that point.
Okay.
But anyways, supplemental instruction, that's another thing. You might see that in your classes, especially in classes like Calc 1, Calc 2. Math, or CS 165, I think, has it. I don't think they have it this semester, but
Really?
they have it.
Yeah, we do have it. Not this
Really?
semester.
No, not this semester.
Not this,
But I mean, like in general, they would have something like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think.
I can't remember the name of the girl who does it.
Hmm.
Do you remember?
Interesting.
For who?
CS 165, the girl who does it.
Was it Rosalie?
No,
No,
there's a
she-
CS girl who does it.
I don't know.
Ariel. She's not a student here. She's a professional tutor.
Oh yeah.
She used to do it virtually over the pandemic, but now that it's in person, I don't even know if she's in the state, to be honest.
Oh wow.
She might even just be far away, so she probably can't even do it in person. But anyways, that's something you could do. It's where you have to sit in on a class, and as you sit in on the class, you get to retake the course, and you get to be freshened up on the knowledge in the course. And in return, you have twice a week SI sessions, which I know Sparks just came from one, where essentially students come in and you essentially have a plan where you help the students within the material that's being taught in the class. And it's essentially like a group tutoring session, but there's a plan going into it as opposed to people coming to you and asking, hey, can you explain this? You're like, okay, you're here, we're gonna explain this. And we're gonna try to explain this in the most creative and the most fun way possible. Something that's gonna get you to actually focus, pay attention, and essentially a new approach to education. And that's just statistically likely to help students, and we have that at the school, and because it's way more work than tutoring, we pay an extra $1 an hour.
Yeah. So we should get way more.
Last one, very easy one to go over, club e-board. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory, like a Matt and a Peter. If you be one of those, you have a higher chance of getting in because you show leadership skills. That's really
Leadership.
CS Club is a good one to go for, STEM Club's another good one to go for, but those usually aren't things you want to go for just to transfer.
Yeah.
Because once you get into this position, you have to actually do your job. And if you don't do your job, best case scenario, you're just gonna be looked at as the clown who does nothing.
The clown
worst
with the
case scenario-
CS club of 2.
Yeah. Shush. Look, I'm looking for something to replace that on my resume. I'm not proud of that.
No, listen, like you get to say you doubled the attendance from 1 to 2.
Actually, no, I like divided it.
No, well, technically I've been there the whole time. You can't say that.
If anything, I divided the attendance. But anyways,
Nobody's checking.
enough about me being
Who's
a
gonna
bad.
check?
Enough about me being a bad president of this club. Which I will agree with 100%. He's saying no, but he knows I'm right. Anyways, that's something that looks good on a transcript, but it shows leadership skills. Yeah, just the bigger the club, the better. Don't go for it if you just want to be it, because if you don't do your job, you're gonna get the boot. You know, worst case scenario, you get the boot. Best case scenario, everyone looks at you like a clown.
Yeah.
In terms of activities, did you guys stack up your application, or did you feel like you went for maybe ones you were really involved with and maybe didn't fill out like that whole sheet?
It's a mix of both. What it is essentially you kind of have what you do with a resume is you kind of say, okay, I want like around this length, and usually that length is 1 or 2 pages. So what you do with
I
that,
think 1 page is.
sometimes you can do 2.
If
You
you've
could.
been working for
You
30
could.
years,
Yeah.
and you got 30 years worth of experience, you know, like.
But also, if you're
I would
transferring,
ne- I would
if you're
ne-
transferring to a school, you want to put down everything you did.
You really think so?
Yeah, not everything, but like I have like maybe a page and a quarter. No, like it's either a page and a quarter or like a page and a third.
Just of extracurriculars, volunteering and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have all that listed. When you're transferring to a school, it's probably, if you're going for a job, maybe not like you probably want like a page at most.
Yeah.
But like if you're building like a school one, you probably could do like over a page. If you have enough to say that I've accomplished this much. Like I had all of these, or actually this one I like briefly mentioned, but these 3 I went to, these 3 I had mentioned. I also had a few other things mentioned.
You probably had a ton of subjects that you were tutoring in.
Exactly.
That fills
So
it out.
I had like 1,000 different things to throw on a resume.
Yeah.
That's why my resume was like a page and a quarter.
I bet.
Speaking of resumes, did you guys or do you guys have access to like apprenticeships, maybe some type of opportunity for a job?
That's a very good question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Have you guys or do you guys have any like apprenticeships or any like
Are you done with this?
opportunities for something
Yeah,
like
I'm
that?
pretty sure.
Clubs.
Yes, that is actually the next slide for actually
Were there any questions, before we move on, were there any questions on the last slide about the Bergen stuff that we offer?
No, I was just
Right,
gonna ask
sure.
like general what you guys kind of put for your activities. What was your main- So you kind of covered it.
I mean, I can send you my resume
Yeah.
directly. don't
Yeah,
know.
do that. Post it on.
I don't wanna
I don't know
post
if you
it.
feel comfortable with that.
Just because my address and stuff's on there, like I can probably just like cut that stuff out.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Like my personal
anonymize it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll just anonymize it.
Cool.
But I'll say it's
Alright.
mine, but
That'd be
I'll
super helpful.
anonymize it enough that you guys can't just like come to my house and be like, hey Jacob, what's up?
Jacob, I know where you live.
Exactly.
Teach me math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
That's what I
so
would do.
yeah, I'm back up again. Hello.
Hi.
So we have some extracurriculars at Stevens Institute, and so some of the more general ones being the Stevens Computer Science Club, and so you're gonna have like workshops there to people like from
Competition.
yeah, you're gonna have like a red.
They got nothing.
I mean, like resume.
No, they have plenty.
Resume building. There's a club called Red Print. They operate and they they kind of help you out with building your resume, and like you can send your resume over to them on their Slack, and then they'll give you feedback and say like, okay, here's like some of the things that you can improve on. And there's also interview preparation.
Thank you for coming.
Have a good one.
And there's data science, which was like the one that was done last Wednesday, And this past Wednesday, we had two alumni from of Stevens that from Microsoft who came to Stevens, and then they told a little bit about themselves and what they do in their day-to-day lives in Microsoft. There is also a hackathon event that they do at the end of the semester. That's I caught wind of that like at the end of the spring 22 semester, and that was it was a little interesting. I only went there just to watch. I didn't actually compete because I wasn't really a part of the club until then. And there's of course Eduardo and James said that there is a cybersecurity defense team at SCDT. Alright. And the big one of Stevens is they have a career fair. This is where all these companies they come to Stevens. They set up their little place with recruiters. We got T-Mobile. Okay. And basically, in a nutshell, you have get yourself out there and sell yourself. That is the main objective. For me, you want, because obviously there's a lot of people there, and I'm sure they want to talk to these people. So try and give yourself at least don't rush yourself with the recruiter. Actually try and take 5 minutes to have a good conversation with them. Say talking about introduce yourself, what year are you, what major, and what are your interests, and maybe try and explain what those interests are about. Yes.
And I would assume it's big corporations because we have job fairs here, and it's like
there's JP Morgan, Chase, EY, ADP, BAE Systems, Samsung. I have heard that Apple has been there, but that was one of my TAs. When he was a freshman, thankfully you guys don't have to worry about being a freshman and going to a career fair because it's immediate rejection. Because they actually tell you to come back when you're older. Because my course assistant he said he handed in his application to Apple, and he said, and the recruiter was like, "This is so good. What year are you?" He said, "Oh, I'm a freshman." He immediately gave it back. I was like, I found it so funny, but so sad at the same time because I was like, it was such a good resume. He could have gotten an internship, but it's no, he had to come back when he was older, and that was the last time Apple has ever been to one of the Stevens career fairs. So I'm hoping that they'll come back for while I'm still here, and. Yeah, also a great time. It's a great time to review and print out copies of your resume. So and there's a website called Handshake. You can there is a list of companies for the career fair on Handshake that you can look through, and it'll actually tell you has your major, go for your major. But sometimes the ones that are not the companies that are not selected, they may have their major, and I actually experienced with one of the companies, and excuse me, and I noticed that they had a computer science internship or software engineering internship, and I was like, why didn't Handshake tell me about this? And there is that, and another thing is a course assistant. Being a course assistant, this is an on-campus job. This is $15 an hour for 10 hours a week, and for like I said before, I'm a course assistant for the algorithm students that are doing quantitative finance. Yeah, so I was hoping to get the position for the CS. I did not, but then a little bit later, my algorithm professor emailed me saying hey, this QF teacher needs CAs, and I'm opening this opportunity to you, and I immediately took it. So and also so pretty much if you want to be a CA in the course, you pretty much need to get an A in the course in order to be considered to be
A or A minus, right?
Huh?
A or A minus.
A minus works. Yeah. And this was also very good to have on your resume because this counts as work experience. So, and another thing that I'm a part of. I'm also a part of the National Society of Black Engineers, which is NSBE, and I actually have to look this up. Please tell me my phone's not dead. Good. And so I got to memorize this for tomorrow. So the mission of NSBE is to increase the number of culturally responsible Black engineers who excel academically, succeed professionally, and positively impact the community. Also, this is not only towards black students. NSBE is inclusive. So don't feel like you're being left out. So because you can definitely go. And tomorrow at NGIT is NSBE's Fall Zone 1 conference, and I'm definitely going to that one. So there's also going to be a regional conference. There's going to be at Syracuse, New York, and then the national conference, which if we get enough sponsorship and enough money, we'll be able to go to Kansas City, Missouri for the national conference. So yeah, but I'm definitely putting in my dime to hopefully get enough, so I can help get enough companies to come to help sponsor us. That way we will be able to go. Which I remember I took a mock interview. There was through another club called SHIP. It was like SHPE. It was like, yeah. It was like Society of Hispanic something of Engineers. I forgot what the P stands for. I'm sorry. And yeah, so like they were holding mock interviews, and then NSBE of course was partners with SHIP. So I decided to go to that one. And there was also a Johnson & Johnson rep who needed to try and find a way to contact the NSBE board, which I'm not a part of. I'm only a member. And yeah, I was able to practice my interview skills, my behavioral interview skills with her. It actually went very well, and I guess in a nutshell, I was able to make a connection with her for like Johnson & Johnson.
Very nice.
So, yeah. Yeah. All right. Next slide. Leave that.
That's it.
Yep,
Thank you for your
that's it.
time. We now open the floor for questions.
Any
Yes?
Could you send
There we
this,
go.
uh,
I will.
Supposed to be-
Don't worry.
Yeah, these will
It's
definitely.
recorded too.
no, could I get this PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's gonna go up.
Of course.
Everything.
PowerPoint and the recording will get.
And also, you guys asked for my resume without my address.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you guys want my address, but I'm not giving
I
it.
want it.
You can have my address.
Okay.
I have a question. How's Mr. DeBrey?
I was
Very
going
good.
great.
Throw the marker.
Yeah.
I was gonna go visit him today, but apparently he's not in.
Yeah, he was not into it.
That sucks. Yeah. No. I was just out of curiosity. So that's it.
Yeah, he's still doing the same old, wheeling and dealing, busy all the time.
Have a good one.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Of course.
The last time I was, I
Thank you so much.
No problem. Yeah, have a great weekend. The last time I talked to him, it was when I was because there was a hybrid meeting for the BCS club, and I was like I decided to hop in, which is now now I can think about it, was like over a year ago.
Yeah, it was a year ago when you shared your program, correct?
Yeah.
I remember that.
No. Yeah. So yeah.
Which I did that
Steve.
assignment.
Yeah, Steve, how fun was it?
That was a fun assignment. I
Yeah.
feel like it was less fun now that I knew it.
Yeah.
Because like after you showed it, like I tried to program it myself and I did it. But then after I took the class, I'm like, oh, I already know this. Why am I relearning this?
Yeah, no, the main focus about that was not just like about the algorithm, but I feel like the hardest part about it was how to display it. And it was like as long as you if you figured out how to do it, then it was an easy A. Unless for some reason you submit it incorrectly and you lose 10 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pain in the ass. I was so salty about that, and I was like, you know what, that's it. I'm just sending the zip folder with the files, and then just yeah. Yes.
I don't want to hold you guys for too long, but scholarships. Maybe you guys could kind of head through it and just let us know financially how you're dealing with private tuition.
I got PTK.
Uh-huh.
I got some other one that I got for existing.
Mm.
And then
Is that just like a merit scholarship?
yeah,
Yeah?
it's just a purely merit-based scholarship they give to new students who
Okay.
look whose transcripts and stuff look like they're good.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
then I just have parents.
And NJ Stars too?
I also have that, yeah.
You have that.
I have NJ Stars too, PTK. My parents are helping me out. I'm also putting in my bank account pretty much.
Got it.
And I also got something through Stevens.
Okay.
So
Yeah, they're big with institutional aid.
yeah.
I would assume.
So, quick thing. I know a lot of schools care about your community service, and they based a lot of their scholarships on your community service. Stevens is not really big on community service. I'm not saying they don't care because they have a lot of it, but when it comes to scholarships, it doesn't really. If you have a strong community service application, that doesn't really matter a lot in terms of what they give you. If you're able to show research and stuff like that and academic stuff, that's what makes you get more money. So yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah,
Lean
that's
into that more. For
that's
Steve.
something very important. I know community service is big when you apply to scholarships, but at Stevens, what really matters is your.
Oh,
That's okay. What really matters is your academic stuff. If you've done research, SI, stuff like that. If you won any award, like the poster competition, and because at 3SP they have something like that. Like they care about
Write that
those
down.
things.
Dude, I
So yeah,
Ooh, you forgot about that. Write that down. Remember that?
and they have this.
Yeah.
There's
Wow,
a-
you're ahead of us.
Is that
I completely
is that
forgot
right?
about that.
Is this correct? Is it
Just
one?
like an accolade or thing around your resume. Just like we won a poster competition.
So yeah,
I
they-
remember winning a poster competition.
They have
yeah, I
that.
would have put I won a poster competition, but I had CCIC.
Yeah. And
Actually,
then
I
they
don't
have.
think I did it at that time. I don't think I've actually won a poster competition.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because you applied before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I
Um,
applied before CCIC.
Why do I? You know,
Wait, I-
scholarships wise, we kind of
wow.
listed them.
You know what you need to say.
Yeah, just say it.
We've been waiting this whole time about it. It's time to drop it, all right?
What?
Drop the bomb.
What bomb?
Come on.
You're too good. You're too good.
Also,
man.
also,
Still
Too
be
humble.
humble. Come on.
I have a question. Do you guys like when you guys graduated from your cohort for 3SP? Was there anybody that happened to get like 6 certifications or something like that?
Probably.
Crystal?
He said there's people that have done every one of them.
No, the record is Crystal.
Really?
7.
7?
Yeah, that was all that he offered that year, right?
Oh, so she
No,
was
all-
record.
no.
Oh, like
because
do all the summer.
No, when I
thingy
graduated, when I got inducted with 6 certifications.
Wow.
Yeah, I took 3.
I got 4. I
I
think.
would I don't know. I killed myself for that summer. I did the 2 necessary ones. I did COBOL, AI, SQL, and R. Those were-
Damn, I wish we got SQL and.
Yeah, no secret.
Yeah, that's
we got
why.
none of that. And
yeah,
we
that's
didn't,
why-
I, know, I didn't. I never got the AI.
Yeah, the summer after my cohort thing, I did the R, but I don't think they've ever offered SQL. I would have taken it if they did.
Yeah, they did.
I did the R one.
Yeah.
Unless they offered during like my first fall semester, then I probably
Give it a
didn't
little
take it
shot. Give it a little shot.
because I was also taking a class that semester.
Wait, what were the ones that Crystal
When
did?
they let me.
I don't remember.
Crystal U, right?
Yeah.
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 Oh, okay. Wait, I thought she graduated with me. Oh. I remember having like the most in my. I thought I remember having the most in my cohort.
And so like if you do 2 summers, is that what you're saying too?
Yeah, like summer 1, summer 2, of the.
No, one summer.
Yeah.
6 in one summer.
6 in one summer. Oh,
Yeah,
got
6
it.
in one summer.
Man,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that's rough.
No,
Man, I
no,
just
because
wanted to enjoy
I
myself,
took 3. I took
Bare
3.
minimum.
I took 3 in the first half, and then 3 in the second
I
half.
feel like we didn't get the best ones though.
Yeah,
We
like,
could've
we
got
did
You guys
the-
got R,
we
which
did
was
the
nice.
presentation
Yeah.
one. That was the only main.
Did you
I
guys get
remember-
COBOL?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
I didn't
Oh.
take it. That's the one I didn't take.
Yeah,
I s-
COBOL was interesting, but like I didn't actually take anything out of it.
Yeah, a lot
I
of
feel
them
like
are.
I feel
Yeah.
I feel like I took something out of R.
Yeah,
I
like
got
I
a
took
basic idea of statistics.
like I have
Yeah.
an
Very
understanding. of-
gentle.
Why is COBOL necessary? Isn't that like a very old course?
It is, but I mean like it's just I mean it also goes through like it also like it's mainly done with operating with IBM. So it's say like hey like if you actually want to like go apply with IBM, you can actually say like oh yeah I've taken I've taken like a mini course and in COBOL. Unfortunately, I do not have enough experience unless you actually get take time to practice the language.
Yeah, so you could just take the mini course, get the certificate, and then actually take some of your own time to relearn the course. So you actually have knowledge in the course and a certificate to say you have knowledge. Even if the two are completely unrelated, because you have a certificate to say you have knowledge, and because you took the time to actually gain the knowledge, you have knowledge.
Nice. Knowledge.
Yeah.
Knowledge.
Yeah.
Knowledge.
So if you don't take something out of a course, if you just study in your free time, great. Now you know something, and you have a certificate to back it up.
Mhm. Yeah. So.
Let's give a little spotlight on the man right here.
I guess I didn't want to mention that because I don't see how that relates to Stevens.
Because finance.
Yeah,
I
Like
feel like
finance.
finance is one of the biggest.
Also, that
Learning
gets you
away
into
point.
Stevens. I feel like
It's the
that's
most
something you could
expensive
put for your
school in the
Stevens resume.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's.
Even beyond Princeton.
Yeah.
Do you wanna
it's-
drop the bomb
it's,
yet?
it's such a scam.
It really is.
It's a scam because
Yeah,
not.
Of course you know that. Yeah.
It's because of its location. That's
Yeah.
pretty much all
Oh,
it
yeah.
is.
Makes sense.
It's pretty though.
It's very nice. So.
Yeah, obviously I got
It's
bored. I
nice.
could just jump in the Hudson.
Yeah, I did attend their I woke up from like a nap, and then I looked outside my window. I noticed like they were preparing something. It was like a 9/11 memorial. It was not a lot of people there, but it was nice. Yeah. So.
What do you guys think about pace?
About what?
What do you guys think about pace?
Pace.
Before we get to that, can you just finally say your thing? So we get out of the way.
I mean, because we were talking about finances, right, and how we're paying for stuff at Stevens. In my case, I have an opportunity which is an outside scholarship. Probably some of you have heard about it. It's called Jack and Cook. So I have the Cook Scholarship, which gives you $55,000 per year up to 3 years. So yeah, that's something in addition to like, it's not part of Stevens or anything, but like if you guys want to know more about it, I'm very happy to help and give you more information. So yeah, you can shoot me an email. I'm very happy to help, and I love to help and to mentor students.
I just
And
found
so
out
that'll basically make you pay no money and have no financial worries for the rest of your life, pretty much, because it also covers graduate school
Amazing. Do you have to reapply? Or?
for the cook.
Yeah, for grad.
Yes, you can. You have to reapply, but the thing is that the application is, for example, the undergraduate application is for everyone, every community college student. But the graduate application is just for us, the ones who win the actual undergraduate
So-
scholarship. So there's no way they're saying no, unless you submit like very vague application and like you don't care. But
Yeah.
essentially, you're gonna get it.
Yeah, it's
So
more
you
like
gotta
they
reapply, but
want
it's
you
just
to-
it's just like a requirement.
I want you to take that next
Like
step.
just send
Yeah,
this
just
so that we can.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's paying for his education. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
we went to there was
A
a
workshop.
seminar, Anna Bergen from BTK put on a
Mhm.
Jack and Cook Scotland workshop.
Yeah.
So your face was plastered all over the projector.
I'm probably gonna give a workshop specifically for Jack and Cook at some point in the semester.
Totally should.
So
I wish it was eligible.
this is
I
Yeah.
saw your face in the job when you realized.
I know, I was pissed because Anna's been stringing me along this whole time and did not mention that you can't have outside credits.
so
Because
great
I
opportunity.
transferred his credits.
Apply. Send me an email. I'll definitely help you.
Are all of you guys in the Discord? Very
I'm in the
specifically?
Discord.
I
He's
left.
not.
I left.
He left when he graduated.
Okay.
Yeah. I did leave behind another Discord that I believe Jacob is still in it.
Yeah, he sent me the Discord, and then I just like didn't touch it. And then I told Mike, if you know Mike Boutrin from ARA,
Oh, yeah.
for everyone here, I sent him the Discord, and I was like, "Hey, do you want this?" He's like, "Sure, why not?" I'm like, "Okay, take
He's
it."
got it.
So now he has it.
Wait, so you left it? Or
Oh, I'm still in it,
oh,
but I
okay.
sent it off to him. He's the owner now.
Okay.
So Barry, if you don't mind, put your email
Yeah,
down. I mean, if you're open to people asking questions.
It's
If
probably
you're not,
better.
that's totally fine.
It's probably better for me for people to message me on Discord.
Yeah, for you, I know.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I was just wondering
Yeah.
if you're open to people asking.
I'm
you
always
questions,
there.
I mean, I don't.
Like always.
I
Like,
don't-
I don't
I
leave.
don't
Do you know how I got into the club?
It's totally fine.
Yeah.
You're,
I emailed
you don't
him.
want to.
Really
Yeah,
nice.
I emailed you.
I feel like
Oh,
you
yeah,
might
yeah,
yeah.
have
Like,
that next step.
Yeah, but I did
in
get
the
back to you.
curriculum.
Yeah, you totally did. No,
It wasn't through like.
I straight up just emailed him. No, Mohad wasn't in yet.
Oh really?
No, yeah, it was before that. It was
It was like in March.
It was the fall of last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I was thinking about going. and I
What's
just-
up? What's up with the ones? I'm not.
Because I guess somebody else had a BDS.
Really?
So-
Because I had another.
Wow.
My brother went here, and he's also M Passion like me, and mine is M Passion 147087. It's like 7 numbers.
Yeah,
actually.
that's
crazy.
it's like your ID name.
Yeah.
Your ID.
So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Fantastic. You
Uh,
guys
we
did a great job.
appreciate that you came.
Thanks for coming all the way here.
Also,
Amazing.
thank you, Eduardo and Barry, for being here.
Yeah,
You
thanks,
guys-
guys.
Yeah.
Hey,
No, man, thank you for inviting us.
Good to see you too.
Nice to see you.
no problem, man. Really appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.
I'll stick by for you too.
Have a great weekend. Take care.
Also, where's Ohan? Oh, you've been so busy with physics.